What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel. It's your girl, DYANAROZAY. I'm here to bring y'all the latest on the Sean Grayson trial. You guys, we are currently on verdict watch. While I'm doing this video, the jury is deliberating on the guilt or innocence of Sean Grayson. Yesterday, he testified in his own defense, which is typically a no-no. Yeah, lawyers do not like for their defendants to testify in their own defense in an M trial, right? It's a strategic decision with significant risk, and they want people to avoid it at all cost. But Sean Grayson took the stand yesterday, and I'm going to tell you guys some of the important things that he said or the things that stood out because it was a long day. Okay, he actually only was on stand for 5 minutes, but it sounds like it was incredibly intense. So I'm going to describe to you what happened in that courtroom, his family's reactions, Sonia's family's reactions, and the jury. Okay, so stick around for everything, because if the verdict comes in while I'm doing this video, I'm definitely going to share it here, but I don't want y'all to miss a thing. So all opinions are alleged, but let's get into it. Okay. So they did say that the courtroom was really quiet yesterday. Somber. There was some expert testimony that went down on Thursday and Friday. And then yesterday, Sean Grayson walked into that courtroom with a dark navy blue suit, a black and tan striped tie, and yeah, he was ready for business. He wanted the jury and the judge, everybody to know that he was not scared, okay? He was there to give his opinions or give his testimony and then hopefully have the jury believe him. That was his goal. But when he walks in, he sits down, and then his family comes in behind him, the family and friends. They take their seats in the defense gallery. And then Sonia's mother, father, and her son, Sonia's son, Malachi, comes in, and they sit opposite of Grayson's family in the gallery. When the judge enters, he does what he's supposed to do. He talks to Sean Grayson about his right to testify in his trial. And Grayson decides, yes, I will do it. Let's go. He takes the witness stand. He gets sworn in. Now, there's a few people that are shocked that are in the courtroom. Sonia's family, in particular, her son, he closes his eyes when Grayson takes a stand. He covers his ears in part of the testimony. He does not want to hear the words or what Grayson describes when he's talking about the moments leading up to unaliving Malachi's mother. Grayson's family, his own family, are sitting there with their hands clasped together in prayer. They also are reading from Bibles. There is a lot going on in the courtroom, and they said that the jury was taking very intense notes. Some of the jurors leaning forward as if they want to make sure they don't miss one word, one syllable that comes out of his mouth. They said that Sean Grayson, however, was as cool as a cucumber, that he answered the questions, that he would look to the jury while he was speaking, and then sometimes look at the judge while he was speaking. So giving eye contact, being like the perfect witness. Grayson's defense team starts off by asking questions about Grayson's training on the force, what his days look like. Grayson said that he had a 14-week training program. He did another 2 weeks of in-house training. He said that he did a late shift. He would patrol at night between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7:30 a.m. And you guys may remember that the call that came in for Sonia, that there was an intruder at her home, that happened between 12:30 a.m. and 12:45 a.m. on July 6, 2024. Grayson also said that the type of calls that he took had to do with pow-powings, domestic calls, bar fights, stabbings, things like that. and he described the area of town that Sonia lived in. It's called the Cabbage Patch area, and it's known for high crime. Grayson also talked about not having his body cam on. It sounds like it was just a series of events. He said that they had a new computer system and that he forgotten his before starting work that night. He said that he was taking calls and anything he did, he had to write out pen and paper. So he was doing old school pen and paper, but he also talked about the body camera. Like sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. He explained that when they were on, or let me do the quote, when we are doing something that is not civil, we have our body cameras on. And then he said that when he walked up to Sonia's yard, when they get the phone call from 911, he said that the call dropped. And then after he finished his traffic stop, he was en route to Sonia's home and that he got there around the same time as Farley. He said him and Farley had only worked together maybe 5 or 6 times previously. So, they don't have any real history together. But he said that when he pulled up into her home, that he should have had his camera on, his body camera on. And then he said that he thought he turned it on, but he didn't check. He didn't look down to check and make sure that the light was on. So he makes the comment that he believed he turned his body camera on when he saw a car in Sonia's yard that looked beat up or broken into. He said that him and Farley had split up to secure the vicinity, make sure there was no persons outside or anything suspicious outside of that car. And then they decide to knock on Sonia's door. They knocked for quite a while, almost 4 minutes or over 4 minutes. And he said that they had been outside so long that he asked his partner to call into dispatch because now he believes that the intruder may have gotten inside of Sonia's home. But again, this doesn't alert him to check his body camera to make sure it was on. Sonia eventually comes to the door. Her first words are, "Please don't hurt me." And then the 2 officers go inside the home. Grayson said that he asked her for ID because he wanted to confirm that the car that was outside was registered to her. Grayson also said that he noticed there was a baseball bat beside a Bible, but he said that Sonia was being cooperative, so I guess he did not see it as a threat. He also said that he thought maybe she had gotten the baseball bat because of what she believed she heard outside. So Grayson said while he continued to talk to Sonia, he still believed that there might be someone inside the home, and he asked his partner to check around her home. Please look in the other rooms. He said that he wanted to make sure that there was no other patrons inside the household. But again, he described Sonia as being cooperative when he questioned her. While that's happening, this is when Grayson notices that there is a pot on the stove and that the stove had turned red. I'm assuming that this was an electric stove, not a gas stove. So the stove turns red, and then he directs his partner Farley to go check the stove. And then this is the quote, to check the stove with the expectation that he would just turn off the stove. Grayson said that Farley was the closest person to the stove at that point, and Grayson was positioned between Sonia and a baseball bat. Grayson goes on to say that he was concerned when Macy jumped up and went behind Farley to walk into the kitchen, and she turned the stove off and picked up the pot. Grayson said that he was concerned because he didn't know what Sonia was doing. I guess he didn't give her an order to turn off the stove or pick up the pot in her home, so he found that concerning. Grayson says that Sonia turned on the sink but didn't use the water. Then Grayson said Farley started to walk backward from Sonia. Sonia asked, "Where are you going?" And Grayson said, "Away from you and your hot steaming pot of water." Then he said that Sonia said, "I will rebuke you. I'll rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And Grayson said he took that phrase as a threat. Grayson then explained that he was trying to use force to gain compliance and that he matched Sonia's threat and threat level by drawing his weapon. Grayson's defense team asked, "Why didn't you use a taser as an appropriate defense against a pot of water?" And that's when Grayson says that he had an older model taser and that Sonia was wearing multiple layers of clothes, which could have made the taser ineffective. And Grayson didn't want to risk the taser not working. Grayson was also asked why he advanced Sonia. Why did he approach her if he thought he was in danger? Also, why did you break protocol and move in front of your partner who also had his weapon drawn? Y'all remember his partner Farley sees Grayson draw his weapon. And he said, "Listen, it is our training that when your partner draws a weapon, you draw your weapon as well, just to make sure, that you are covering all bases." But that Grayson broke protocol when he stepped in front of Farley. Grayson said that he approached Macy at this point because he was trying to secure Macy in handcuffs for aggravated assault on a police officer and for holding a pot and making threats. Now, if you saw the body camera, if you had an opportunity to see the footage, you know this happened in a matter of seconds. We saw his arms extended. He doesn't appear to be reaching for handcuffs or anything like that. When Sonia drops down to the floor, it's because she sees them draw their weapons. So she drops down to the floor to cover herself, to protect herself. But she lifted her hands up and she said, "Okay, okay, I'm sorry." Grayson then said that he also approached Sonia to get a clear picture of what she was doing behind the cabinet. After that, you hear the words, "I'm going to shoot you in the effing face." And then you hear Macy say, "Okay, I'm sorry." And Grayson said that he gained compliance. His job was he felt he had to gain compliance. On Macy's way back up, because again, she dips down behind the counter. On her way back up, standing up, Grayson said that he saw Macy grab the pot and raise it above her head and throw the pot at him. Grayson said that he only discharged his weapon when Sonia threw the pot at him. That's when the defense says no further questions, and Milheisner, the prosecutor, starts asking questions. Milheisner shows Sean Grayson a report that he wrote following the unaliving of Sonia. Grayson didn't write in his report that I will shoot you in the effing face. He left that out, okay? So that's a big deal for the prosecution. And they asked, "Where is this statement? Why wouldn't you write this in your report?" The prosecution then emphasized if Deputy Farley didn't have his body camera on, nobody would know that you said that. Grayson says, "I didn't feel the need to write everything down in this report because it was all shown on the body cam footage. Now, while all this is going on, you guys, Sonia's mother is disgusted. She is making grunts and all kinds of noises in the gallery, like, "Mm, like you can just tell that she cannot stand the words that are coming out of his mouth. Also, Sonia's son has his ears covered. He does not want to hear the description, or he doesn't want to hear Grayson's testimony about what happened leading up to his mother's unaliving. He doesn't want to hear that from him. Reports say that the testimony from Grayson lasted all of 5 minutes, but it was incredibly intense. Jurors, again, were leaned in and they were all writing notes intensely. I'm surprised that it has taken so long so far. I told y'all we are on verdict watch, and I have been looking to see if that I've been looking to see if a verdict has been returned. It has not yet. So I'm curious what they are, you know, it seems like it'll just go faster. Not yet, not yet though. But sometimes it goes fast and the judge will make you sit back there for a little while just because, they don't want they want to make it seem like the jury has done their due diligence, right? So anyway, let's come back to the testimony. After Grayson goes and sits back down at the table, the defense calls another deputy by the name of Jason Eccleston, and Jason Eccleston describes Grayson's demeanor when he arrived following the unaliving of Sonia. He said that Grayson was very much upset, that he was sobbing in his car, that he had to tell him to. He also said that he appeared panicked. He appeared panicked and his demeanor was up and down. That is how he described him when he went to the witness box. The prosecution examines Eccleston, and they have body cam footage where they hear Eccleston tell Grayson, "Don't you say a effing thing to anyone and turn that damn body camera off." So, according to the prosecution, they're saying that, listen, from the second Eccleston came on, it appears that he is helping with a cover up. At least that's what the prosecution looks like they're trying to make it seem like. They also said, again, you emphasized multiple times to turn off the body camera. So it looks like Grayson's demeanor, the aftermath of Grayson's demeanor, was not captured on video. Another officer is called to the stand to testify for Grayson or in Grayson's behalf. This time, he kind of pushed a lot of the blame off on Farley, saying that Farley did not do his due diligence to secure the scene, and that things may not have gone as far as they did if Farley would have turned off the stove when Grayson directed him to go check on the stove. He also said that he believes Grayson acted within the proper rights. He said Grayson believed that he was under a threat. And when he saw what he saw with excuse me, Sonia holding the water, that his job was to remove the threat. He also said that he believed Grayson tried to de-escalate the situation. So after testimony is complete, Macy's family, or Sonia's family, is escorted out of the courtroom. They're in tears. The judge has ordered a break. They do come back in a little later, and they're still crying. Benjamin Crump, the civil rights attorney, he has also come into the courtroom to sit with the family. And the prosecutors begin the closing arguments. Rogers starts and she screams out, "I'm sorry." She is repeating the words that Sonia says prior to Grayson dislodging his weapon. Those are the last words that she spoke. Rogers knocks on the podium 3 times to demonstrate how many times Macy or Grayson treated Macy when he knocked on the door. How Grayson treated Macy when he knocked on the door. The monitor shows a photo of Grayson and Macy standing outside of her home. Rogers emphasizes that Grayson was much larger than Sonia and most likely had to stoop down to even go into her home. She talks about the lies that Grayson told on the stand, that he had no other choice but to unalive her by pow pow. Rogers emphasizes that there were other measures he could have taken if he believed that his life was in jeopardy. She also said that Sonia was not the initial aggressor, that it was Grayson, that he had no right to follow her and to pow pow her. Rogers then go over the charges. Second degree M. She also says that first degree M is on the table because when you threaten to shoot someone in the face and you do it, that is first degree M. They continue that Sonia was never a threat. She never posed any kind of threat, not immediately, not immediate, not deadly, that the use of lethal force was not justified. They pointed out that she had called 911 for help. She was inside of her home, that she was cooperative until the confrontation. They also emphasized that the fact that Grayson's body cam was not activated at the critical moment raised questions about his transparency and credibility. The prosecution also stressed that although Grayson claimed that he feared Sonia, or that he feared Sonia would throw boiling water, the POTS movement and the nature of the threat were not clearly demonstrated in the videos that they saw or by other testimony, and that would be Farley. They asked the jury to consider whether Grayson's perception of the threat was objectively reasonable under the circumstance. They were in the kitchen. Yes, there was hot water. It was actually Sonia who called 911. And whether Grayson escalated the interaction he had with Sonia by advancing her rather than retreating. They said he was closer to the door. He could have stepped back, stepped out, asked for backup. Essentially, they said that the facts don't support a first-degree M charge only if you accept Grayson's account of what happened. Ask whether that account holds up under scrutiny. The defense's closing argument is that they frame this case as a split second decision made by a law enforcement officer faced with what he reasonably believed was an imminent threat. They portrayed Grayson as acting in good faith under pressure. They highlighted that there was a pot of boiling water, and they argued that his taser would not have been effective because she was wearing a layered amount of clothing. So he used what was available to him, which was his weapon. The defense also pushed to the jury that they should give Grayson the benefit of the doubt. They pointed out that he had to make a split decision. And also the environment of Sonia's home put him in a state of mind that he was possibly in danger. They argued that if the jury accepts Grayson's account of what he believed was happening, then the only viable verdict is that his actions were justified, or at most, they want the jury to consider second degree M and not first degree M, which is a sentence of up to 45 years. I did have an opportunity to check on deliberations if there was a verdict, and as of right now, no, the jury has been sent home. So they weren't able to make a decision today. We'll have to see if they can get one tomorrow. But as of right now, no decision. We'll find out tomorrow if there is a guilty or innocent verdict. You guys talk to me in the comments. A lot of you are new to my channel. Based on the first two videos that I did on the Sean Grayson trial, I do want to say welcome. I appreciate your comments. I like reading through them. There is a lot of people who feel very, very strongly. In fact, I'd say the majority of you who feel very, very strongly that Sean Grayson is guilty. I have read comments from a woman who said that she is familiar with someone, she knows a cop who did something similar. She said that she always thought that he was a nice guy, and she was shocked when he did something similar to a person in her community. And she also believes that Grayson is guilty. Read the comments. It's really interesting where things are falling right now. But it looks like the jury, after everything that they heard, they were not able to bring back a verdict tonight. And I want to say that they went back to deliberate around 4:10, 4:10 p.m. And then by the time they got to 6:15, the judge said he wanted everyone to go home. So he said, come back tomorrow, we'll do it again. 6:15, they were told to go home on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. I was reading through notes, you guys, so there might have been a lot of pauses. I tried to, give you guys what I could see because I was taking a lot of notes on things. But thank y'all. Okay. Thank you to everyone who is coming through and supporting me with these videos. I'll be back tomorrow. Till next time. Bye-bye.